This is exactly how I made a 1K in less than 5 minutes. What's happened? So this all started last week Friday, when I not only missed out on this move, but I lost money simply just by being impatient. And I paid for that. Shit was not sweet. And then this weekend, Trump dropped 3 bombs on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities, which caused this huge gap on the downside. And then market went up. Then fast forward Sunday market open. I noticed price was in this area here. I wanted to get in, but again, I was kind of scared. I was expecting it for it to sell. I had a sell stop here. It ended up not selling, ended up buying, and that's simply because I was trying to predict the market, and I usually don't do that, and I usually tell people don't do that, and me doing that caused me to miss out on that buy, which G2R gave us a signal to as well. I'm gonna show you guys later. Came down here to test the support zone. While this is happening, I'm asleep. I didn't wake up until around 8 o'clock where I'm at in Colombia, so that's 9, I think that's, no, 8 o'clock EST. Yeah, I woke up 8 o'clock EST, so that's 7 a.m. my time in Colombia. And then I noticed price in this area when I woke up. Then I went to the gym. While I was in the gym, I was looking at the markets, seeing what's going on. That's when I noticed this little opportunity here. This is where I noticed the opportunity that I'm talking about, right here. Before this happened, price was here, and all I did was simply follow my strategy 2 on the G2R blueprint, and I executed it. Let me show you guys what it looked like right now. So price was at a zone. By the time I was looking at it, price was around this area here, and I simply followed strategy 1 on the G2R blueprint. And strategy 1 is simply going with the trend. This formation you see here, price was around this area between here and here, and right here we see a little zone here to the left, not complete zone, but I could clearly see we're near a zone, but I don't really care about that right now because that's strategy 2. So when I noticed price in this area up here, G2R already gave us a sell, but it was a little bit too early for me. I don't just take trades based off of the signals and the signals alone. I don't do that. I wait for another confirmation, and that confirmation is a break of a 1 minute and 5 minute structure. And that structure is either the higher low or higher high, or lower low or lower high. As you can see here, we have a higher low that market price created on this small uptrend. We already have the sell signal, so I knew if price break this low here, that's good enough for me to get in. Entry criteria 2 out of 2. I'm getting in the trade, and that's exactly what I did. So I got in the trade right here. I didn't manually get in the trade. I actually placed a sell stop right under this zone here, and then after price triggered that sell stop, it put me in that trade. I was risking about 30 pips, and that 30 pips it's above this zone here, or at the zone. And then I had a 60 pip SL because I trade a 1-to-2 ratio every time. And literally within a matter of a couple minutes, price flew down. As you can see here, let me play the market. Price flew down, triggered TP1, TP2, and that's about it. I didn't stop just there, because I not only trade with the trend, I trade against the trend as well. I trade zone to zone as well. So I use my strategy 2 on my blueprint. And strategy 2 is simply getting in a trade off of 2 entry criteria. One of them, which is price being at a zone, a major zone, and that zone has to be on the 5 minute or higher. And right here, as you can see on the bottom right on my 15-minute chart, pull that up. Price went exactly there. That's actually where my take profit was at, 60 pips. And then I noticed price was in this area here. Entry criteria 2 out of 2. Price is at zone. So I didn't mind getting in an entry with a stop loss at same thing, 30 pips to make 60. So when I noticed price near or at the zone, I then placed that buy. I could have waited for a 1 minute break of structure, but it didn't create no structure. And I know at that time it was right when New York session kind of opened. I know those structures are probably not going to happen as fast, so I didn't mind getting in that zone to zone entry right here, risking 30 pips. So on this sell here, I made 600, risking 300, quick 1-to-2 ratio. And then on that strategy 2 buy, I made another, I believe 400, 500, but you can see on the screen exactly what I made. And for that one, I was risking about 250 to 300. And now the same thing. Once I place that buy, my stop loss 30 pips, take profit 60 pips. It has to be a 1 or 2. I don't like trading 1-on-1. I don't mind if depending on the situation of the markets, but 9 times out of 10 I trade a 1 or 2, and then I'll probably trail stop loss depending on the move. I didn't do that in this move. I don't know why, but that's actually something that I'm working on, which is trailing stop loss. Because if I trail stop loss, instead of placing my take profit at that next zone, which I usually do, every time I find my take profit, you guys wonder, how do I find it? It's always at the next zone, and that next zone could either be on the 5 minute, sometimes 1 minute, but mainly on the 5 minute, 15 minute and above. And that's exactly what I did. 60 pips here at that next zone. If I didn't close my take profit and trailed my SL to that next zone, price would have continued going up, and I would have made almost 3 bands, if not more, on this buy move here. So now, for future references, this is what I'm going to do. Next time I have an entry here at a zone, I'm going to hold it, trail my SL as price is going up, because now if I would have done that, I would have got an entry around this area here. Price would have went up, directly up. I would have trailed my SL, and then guess what? Guess what, y'all? And then G2R would have called that buy signal, and I was already in a buy. So now that would have confirmed to me that price is going to continue going up. So what is that telling me? Continue holding. There's more money to make. And guess what? What did price do after G2R called that signal? Let's see. Whoa. TP1 hit again. So the first time TP1 hit directly right off the bat, and then TP2, and then it reversed, called the buy signal, and then TP1 hit right there. That's a 2 out of 2 trade. This whole move here would have made me $3,000 plus, and that's under 10 minutes. It would have made me $3,000 plus, and that's under 10-20 minutes. But it doesn't stop there. I thought it did, right? I thought it stopped there, but it doesn't. It keeps going up. It keeps going up to take profit too. Let's just watch to see what happens. See how much more money we could have made. TP3, we would have trailed SL to TP1, trailed SL to TP2, and then it would have hit TP3. Then we could have got out. And then we would have waited for a new opportunity. We would have waited for a new opportunity. And this is where that new opportunity would have been, y'all. This is where it starts to sell, starts to show you guys that it might reverse. The crazy thing about it is I was watching this just for a little bit, not enough to actually take advantage of the move, but I was watching this enough to know that was a good place to either place a sell stop or a buy stop below and above this zone right here. I would either place a buy stop here. That would have continued for the buy. Strategy 1, I already have the signal, and then the confirmation to break up the structure would have let me know it would continue buying. But then I could also pull the strategy 2 because price is at or near a zone, and I could wait for the break of the structure that I was talking about before in strategy 2 to get in that trade. But because I was a little scared, a little nervous, I was a little bit attached to the amount of money that I made, which is a no-go in trading. You cannot be attached. You will miss out a lot if you're attached. If I were to pay attention, not react based off of fear and based off of attachments, I would have placed a sell stop right here, and my SL would have been right here. No. My SL would have been about 30 pips. Usually I like it above the next zone, but I would have found a way to make it work. I would have put it at 30 pips, either 30 pips or 40. I would just adjust my stop loss and then place a TP at 60 pips. And that 60 pips is at the next zone. So that would have been a good trade. Easy trade, easy money, another $600. But I didn't catch it. So now, this where the second confirmation would be for this trade to be a A+ setup. Not only that we see price breaking, well right here price is starting to do something, it's playing around that zone, it's breaking. I would have waited for the signal. Next thing we know, we get that sell signal. Sell signal. We got this sell signal. Not only we got the sell signal, we got the breakup structure. So now that would have been my goal to get in the trade. That would have been my green light. And guess what happens after you get that green light? Let's see what happens. We kind of already know what happens, but you'll see again. Plays around and plays around. And then TP1 gets hit, TP2 gets hit, TP3 gets hit, and some more. and then it repeats the same thing it did earlier. It reached the zone. Now if I wanted to, I could have pulled out the strategy 2 again, and guess what? I would have made money again. And now G2R calls the buy. And let me make sure it's on the right. Okay, we're on the custom settings, so that's good. And the custom settings is basically 30 pips SL, TP1 60 pips, TP2 90 pips, TP3 120. And I'm able to customize and change the different settings depending on the different pair I trade. But because I'm on NAS, I'm on custom, and I just wanted to make sure that it's correct. So now we get the buy signal. This is where we would have been, right here. You could have placed because price is near zone, you could have pulled out the strategy 2 on the blueprint. Price is near at zone, price breaks a 1 minute or 5 minute higher low, higher high, or lower low, lower high. And it did. It broke a lower high, which is right here. So that would have been second confirmation to get in that strategy 2 trade. And that would have made you another 1-to-2 ratio trade. 60 pips risking 30. Because we waited for the break, we would go through maybe 20 pip drawdown, because price did go down a little bit here, but it went up immediately after. And what it gave you could have made 100 pips off this move, because I wanted to ratio 60 pips. Like I said, it caused a signal that would have confirmed to you that it's going to continue buying. On the left here, SL actually triggers, so now you could wait. So you would have made somewhere on the fall, the drop, the upside, and the drop again. But then you would have lost money right here. And you would have lost, for me, I would have lost $300. But if I wanted to get in again, same thing. I would have placed a buy stop here right above that high, and then ride the move to the upside. Actually fast forward, but this is what happens. This is the actual turnaround of that move. Yes, it triggered the SL the first time, but you already made money off the 3 trades earlier, so you have room to risk. You have money to risk, and you would have risked that with another trade, and that trade would have made you another 1-to-2 ratio, but it went to 1-to-2, 1-to-3, and a 1-to-4. You would have made another $2,000 to $3,000 on this move. If I was paying attention while all of this was happening, I would have passed my 100K account that I'm trying to pass today in a couple of hours, and I would have passed phase 2 in Asia session. That simple. But I'm okay with today because 1, I didn't end off with a loss, and I ended up in profit. But even most importantly, now I know with conviction my blueprint, G2R, and my risk management skills is on point, and I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to react off of my fears and my feelings. If I do what's right, which is my blueprint, I'm going to make money every single day. And if I don't make money every single day using this blueprint, it's either because I fell to being impatient, I felt a fear, or I felt the greed. That's it. That's the only reason why I would ever have a losing day or a losing week. So now there's 3 things that I'm going to be working on going into tomorrow and the rest of this week. 1, never let fear dictate my actions, because if I didn't, I would have capitalized on every single move that I just showed you guys here, and I would have not only probably passed my account, but made a lot more money than I expected. 2, stay patient. Continue following my blueprint and stop thinking you're going to miss out, because I feel like that's kind of what caused me to be impatient, because I kind of fear of missing out. FOMO. I kind of have FOMO, and I got to work on that, because that's holding me back to really get into that next level. Well, it's really holding a lot of us back to really get into that next level that we know we can get to. And 3, consistency. Oh my God. So now I noticed last week, the more consistent I was, the better I performed. I was smacking shit left and right. But the moment I felt a little bit of fear, and that fear came from maybe this can't be too easy. Like, this shouldn't be too easy. I shouldn't be making this much or this fast. I really got fear of that. And I was like, and that feeling came because there's no way. It just felt so easy. And the moment I started holding on to that thought that there's no way it's that easy, I started getting a little bit scared and a little bit impatient later on, but really getting a little scared. And that caused me to miss out on moves that I was supposed to capitalize on, because it's a part of my blueprint. So now I'm going to focus on what I've been focused on, which was growing, and I'm gonna really focus on that, and I'm gonna stay consistent with finding my 2 setups according to my blueprint, and then I'm gonna continue training my eyes to see only those 2 setups and take only those 2 setups every single time, because I know for a fact, based off of my own experience, that I know as long as I say fuck everything else and follow my blueprint, my G2R, and my risk management guides, I'm going to make money every single day. Because one of my risk management guides, I only take 3 trades. It's almost impossible to miss all 3 trades following this blueprint. Almost impossible. It is possible if I let myself do dumb shit, being impatient, let fear dictate my actions. If I let these things happen, of course I'm gonna lose. That's inevitable. But I don't have to have a losing day. You're gonna lose trades, but you don't have to have a losing day. So now I know that. That just fueled me up, just got me 10 times more hype, and now I'm just waiting for opportunity. As I'm talking to y'all, I'm seeing a little opportunity right now. I have to make sure it's good enough to actually take, but let me see right now. It's not a bad opportunity, and I'm gonna show you guys. Like if I wanted to, I could either put a strategy 2 or I could wait for a strategy 1 setup. For an example, we have a little zone that's being created here. Our auto support and resistance, I already identified that right here. So then I could either place a sell stop, because one price is at or near a zone, which is up here. We have a couple more pips to go, but it's near a zone. So now if I wanted to, I could place a sell stop right here. Price breaks that. I know G2R is gonna give me the sell signal. It's gonna give me the sell signal, and then that's gonna confirm my trade, and I'm gonna be able to hold and trail my stop loss and capitalize on every part of this move, not just my goal. Or I could wait for G2R to give us a signal and then wait to see if price breaks this zone here and then get in the trade. So yeah, man. Just like that. Like, I'm starting to see every opportunity that I could make some money on. And I'm going to continue doing that every single time, regardless of how I feel. As long as I know I'm doing exactly everything right when it comes to my risk management, strategy, my entry criteria, and exit criteria. And that's it. That's all I need. As long as I follow those things, we're golden. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Deuces.